Perception is key. And Tom Brady was not at his best against the Indianapolis Colts. Um, it does not mean anything at all to me that the Raiders are looked as a big underdog. It certainly does not mean anything to me that John Gruden was canceled. It does not mean anything to me that Henry Ruggs is no longer on the team. Vegas was 50-1 when I placed my bet over at Vegas. Basically, the story was I wasn't there. My friend was there with his dad. What are the odds before he placed the bet? I'm just like, I don't care. I think they're 30-1 or whatever. They're 40-1. Just, I got the Raiders. And he said they're 50-1. I was honestly surprised. Now, what I perceive the Raiders to be is completely different than what everybody else perceives the Raiders to be, which is fine because people are looking at the defense from last year. They were looking at the fact that they haven't been good in 20 years. But what people don't see with Derek Carr is that he has not had a good supporting cast in all these years in a Raider uniform. Derek Carr, good company man. What people saw with the Raiders was that they had a bad defense last year. And, wasn't good at all. But defense did play good certain times of the year. They beat the Colts, if I'm not mistaken. Well, who they did beat was they beat playoff teams last year. That is what allowed me to resonate well with this radar prediction, was that despite what happened to end the year last year, they still defeated the Cleveland Browns, which were a playoff team. They did it on the road. They did it in a very wet game. The Raiders show that they can win and grind out a tough result. They defeated the Kansas City Chiefs during the past couple of years. So progress definitely was being made. Now, what has really made the Radar defense elusive was that they are rushing the passer. Nigoye, the guy from the Ravens, the guy from the Buccaneers, Nassib. You get guys that are getting involved in the middle of the field and making tackles. Denzel Perryman, getting active, making tackles. That's what you want a linebacker to do. You've got KJ Wright, who won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks, making tackles, getting active. He knows how to prepare. These veteran signings are the kind of signings that helps out a young defense. One of the absolute brightest spots of the Raiders was Nate Hobbs in the 5th round. Now, the media told you that no Arnett, Raiders, hits keep on coming. They got guys who could buy and sell a scheme. Gus Bradley was always good defensively. This cornerback that they got from the Chargers is playing very well, and he had a really bad year last year. Casey Hayward. And I think Desmond Trufant is a very underrated move coming from a nickel dime quarter package perspective. You always like versatile safeties, participating in the running game and coverage, and number 24 was getting very involved in the Russian defense. Jonathan Abram, a very elusive safety, kind of reminds me of Adrian Wilson and the Cardinals, just stacking the box, blitzing the quarterback. A very dynamic defense, a defense that has been inconsistent, like we saw with the Chiefs game, but then again, the game against the Bengals, the Radar defense came to play. Against the Ravens, the Raiders were shutting down Lamar Jackson. Against the Kansas City Chiefs, the arsenal has not been revealed yet. I think that game was purposely rigged to go against the Raiders. I think Gus Bradley was not showing the real playbook of the Raiders that game against the Chiefs. It was 5-10 yard underneath cushion. It was almost like playing a prevent defense all game long. Now, any team out there is in Super Bowl contention when they have a good defense, when they're having elusive players like Pro Bowl tight end Darren Waller. The Raiders just come in and improve their roster right away. They have a guy in mind that they want, Desean Jackson. And Desean Jackson comes in right after what happened with Henry Ruggs. The team is reeling and all that. Desean Jackson is allowed to get healthy, to get used to the playbook and all that. When he's getting used to the playbook, when he's sitting on the bench against the Chiefs, against the Bengals, he is getting more used to the playbook. He knows what he wants. He's not getting confused. He's not hurting his confidence. And they say that he's a little banged up or whatnot, but everybody's banged up in December. And Desean Jackson, this is a mature wide receiver. This guy is ready to win at all costs. Odell Beckham demands the ball. Odell Beckham is pissed off when he's not playing well, when he's not getting the ball. I think the Raiders handled this very well. Odell Beckham was very intriguing, but the LA-born wide receiver who can torch his old rivals in the NFC East is a very revealing thing to see. To see Desean Jackson torch the Buccaneers, to see Desean Jackson torch them again, hopefully in the Super Bowl, to see Desean Jackson torch the Redskins as a former Eagle. Desean Jackson is the decoy to allow Hunter Renfrow to get open. Hunter Renfrow reminds me of Wes Welker. He knows how to run routes. He goes out the ball. He's got good vision. There's a fake play by the Chargers. Hunter Renfrow is right there. Boom, lays a big hit. Now, I think these are real Gruden grinders. When you're not the most athletic guy out there like Hunter Renfrow and you're running all across the field, recognizing the fake punt to make a big hit, that is the Gruden grinder mentality. That's going to allow the Raiders to do very well. Everything you saw last year was all fake because the people in Vegas must not believe in the Raiders. The people in Vegas obviously feel like the Raiders are the enemy if they are putting people's lives in jeopardy like Tina Tintor. Obviously, nobody is taking the Raiders at all. But the Don Al Davis is very clear. It don't matter if John Gruden isn't there. It don't matter if Henry Ruggs is not there. It don't matter what you're feeling. Just win, baby. Just win, no matter the circumstances. That message is going to hit very deep into this team this week. That they overcame a lot that no team out there has done. I feel that Derek Carr was going to go underneath a lot. He was going to take what the D gives him. He's throwing the ball deep this year. He's more elusive throwing deep. He is number one in passing yards, even going through without a wide receiver for a few weeks like he did. He knows what it's like to not have weapons on his team. He knows what it's like. It has made him ready for the moment when he does have talent. Derek Carr keeps this team going. He even said so. He even said before the Bengal game, after the Bengal game, this team has more talent than previous teams. And he is absolutely right. Nassib, the guy from the Ravens, Hayward, Peyton Barber. Look at all these guys they're bringing in. Kenyon Drake. That's a lot of guys they're bringing in. They got a center that they replaced immediately with a kid who played college football at UCLA. There's a lot of talent that is going in onto this team. Mike Mayock has brought in quite a bit of talent. He doesn't get the final say on the draft picks, which was all John Gruden. John Gruden whiffed a lot. But Mike Mayock, this guy is the engine that has allowed a Raider defense that is going to play like a top 10 defense at the end of the year. Has given Carr the support that he needs. He got in and got Desean Jackson. Hunter Renfrow, late round draft pick. The work of Mike Mayock. This guy was never the problem. Carl Nassib, they brought this guy in. Diversity. Stand up for diversity. Stand up against the Donald Trump. Can talk about football. I'm still going to talk about the football. This is mostly talking about football, this video. Perception is key. The Raiders can get good pass rush with only 4 defensive linemen. I believe that is true. They can rush 4 guys. They can play good coverage and make tackles underneath. Know what they can do. They know guys' individual responsibility. Derek Carr's not passing in the NFL, no running game. Prescott, this guy got a running game. Kyler Murray, he got Connor. When all the top passes, one guy has a lottery pick kind of running game going on. Whether it's trying to replace my guy, Rodney Hudson on the Cardinals, baby. We got Rodney Hudson and we start running the ball downhill. Now that's all good. You want to build your team around a franchise quarterback. Cardinals have did it with Kyler Murray. The Raiders are starting to throw downfield, trying to really allow Derek Carr to carry the team on his shoulder. That is a good thing. And now what is about to change is the fact that Josh Jacobs has had plenty of time to absorb, to battle. He was meeting with Henry Ruggs. This is a brother we're talking about. Brother from another mother. That's how close they got. Alabama. Think Kenyon Drake is from Alabama too. You saw Drake run the ball against the Broncos. You saw when he's not the every down back that he's not going to fumble because he was there every down back in Arizona and he was fumbling as every down back. The Raiders using the guy right. Josh Jacobs, this was the real first game that he had ever since the incident with Ruggs. It's like he's clearing his head. He's had some injuries to start the year, but Josh Jacobs is going to get back to being the guy that's rushed 1,000 yards for each of his first 2, 3, 4, whatever seasons it has been since 2017 or 2018, whatever it was. They say that you need an offensive coach to win. They say that Bisaccia is too conservative. Good thing to have a defense that you can trust. He trusts his defense. That they're get the ball back to Derek Carr's hands. What I need to see is more aggressiveness on 4th and short. Trust Derek Carr. Trust the guy to lead the way with that. He sees things from a special teams field position aspect. To me, that pooch kick in overtime really shows how Bisaccia can ball on special teams. That kick return against the Cowboys, that was to keep the game close. That was really to keep the game close. But to me, you start to see real special teams plays once playoffs begins. In a big game against, let's say, the Colts or the Broncos or something like that. When you have a special teams coach, you're bound to see special teams coach from guys playing reserves. You're going to see big special teams plays during the playoff run. I haven't really seen them yet, but you're going to definitely start to see some big special teams plays, especially, and it could be the genius of Bisaccia, that he is waiting for the playoffs to show those special team plays that he got. That's perfect strategy. If they want to play chess and show their true hand against Mahomes the second time, the third time around, when they're in the playoff hunt, especially if the Chargers beat the Bengals, and you're going to be more aggressive. This coaching staff knows when to make the right plays, and the script will be allowed to be flipped. Perception is key. The Saints were a playoff team last year. I forgot to mention the Saints. They beat good teams last year. I think those games against the Falcons or whatnot last year, against the Dolphins with Carr's injury, against the Colts, shows you what they really planned for Vegas. Oh, everyone's going to think the Raiders are going to make it to the Super Bowl if they make the playoffs. They knew what they're doing when they had to miss the playoffs. Derek Carr just took part of that as a company man. And he was supposed to never play. He was supposed to be benched in the year that he wins the Super Bowl. I mean, my research that I did today, when I looked at Derek Carr's first start against the Jets, it reminds me exactly of Tom Brady. When you see a fact that a special teamer who's had long snaps, who's played 8 games with the Bucs, and he's now on the Raiders, and Desean Jackson played with the Bucs, and he's on the Raiders, and Bisaccia coached the Cowboys and the Bucs, and the Super Bowl host, the Chargers, a Super Bowl run that can begin at the Cowboys and end with the Bucs. I mean, what you're looking at with the NFC play, I think the NFC playoff field is a lot more clear than the AFC because of how tight the AFC is. But you can't tell me that it's all coincidence that before the Super Bowl 18 matchup that the Ravens or whoever on top is number 1 and the Raiders are number 8. I mean, number 1 and number 8, that's 18. That you may think is coincidence, but it actually has a lot of meaning. The Cowboys and the Rams are going to meet up. The Cardinals are going to win the division. The Rams lost the freaking Packers that week. Number 4 against number 5. That is whoever gets the ticket to get smoked by Tom Brady. I don't think Tom Brady losing at home ever as a Buccaneer in front of home fans. They don't get to pay all that money to see the GOAT lose at home. It's kind of intriguing, though, because you get the close game by the Cowboys, but then again, it's the opening week, and maybe the Bucs were sluggish and all that. But when the Bucs start to pick up the heat and they get smoked by the Rams, and what if the Rams get hot and they beat the Cardinals, whatever, and the Cardinals just win the rest of them, and they still win the division, they still get home field. But you look at a win against the Cardinals, and if the Rams beat the Niners again, then what if the Rams are starting to get confidence? That's going to be the narrative. And if they beat the Dallas Cowboys, then there's definitely going to be some hype surrounding the LA Rams so they were to face off against Tom Brady and the Bucs. I mean, what if this is the bitch team that Tom Brady wins 2 Super Bowls against? Ends their dream the 3rd time, right? Ram gets sacrificed again. That really has a lot of deep meaning in regards to the sacrifice of the Ram to the GOAT. Now, Cardinal fans can say, we'll show you losers how to beat the Bucs, and then, Cardinals going to lose them again because they ain't going to do nothing. I give a damn. The AFC Championship game at home, it's skull and bones, going to break your dream and all that. The Buccaneer, the skull, the freaking skull, man, the freaking skeleton face. Make them cry, man. Skull and bones, break their dreams, make them cry. The only thing that was wrong back in September, October, early October, late September was the Packers don't face the Saints. They probably face off against the Vikings. If they lose to the Vikings, they face off a 3rd time against the Vikings. But that AFC playoff field is very open. That Radar Chief game is going to be very big. That Patriot Bills game is going to be big. I still like the Raiders to beat the Bills at home, the AFC Championship game. I still think a team in their new stadium is going to win the AFC. Chiefs will start to pick it up and build up hype before these divisional games. And then you just have to see what's going to happen with that. They killed the Raiders. They lose the Chargers already. What if we see the results flip and they split against both teams in the AFC? What if we're supposed to build up the Chargers again? I mean, again, the Raiders could avoid the Chiefs in the playoffs if they get something like the Patriots. Get one back against the Patriots. Carr's first win against the Patriots. 1-3 against the Patriots with the Super Bowl in LA. The Patriots' 22nd playoff loss to Carr, to Oakland, where they were when the Tuck Rule game happened. Now, everybody said before that if the NFL was rigged, that Tom Brady's going to be up against Bill Belichick, and there's an article that came out today that NBC executives wanted all that. It's supposed to get you to think that this matchup's going to happen. But then the NFL can say, hey, it's not rigged. We didn't have Bill Belichick against Tom Brady, but still rigged that the Tom Brady dynasty is going to begin and end against the Raiders. His first playoff game, wasn't it, against the Raiders? In his last playoff game against the Raiders? He gets hurt or something like that, and Giselle wants him to go away, something like that. Super Bowl hangover. Bruce Arians calls it quits. Don't be surprised if that's going to happen with the Bucs next year. Don't be surprised at all, especially if the Raiders end Tom Brady's career. But then they're supposed to be the dynasty that wins 3 out of 4 years. But this little 3 Super Bowl decade is going to work a little bit differently than what you've seen typically with some prior dynasties. It's that Vegas will get the good stuff at the end of the decade, but you had that 1 year to really believe in the Raiders and everything was going against them, it seems like. With the whole Deflategate, seems like the commissioner is out to get the Raiders. It's the same page out of the textbook. Both teams are 5-5. Both quarterbacks have their debut against the Jets. That can't be by coincidence. They knew what they're doing with that. Derek Carr's legacy is a whole lot different. This would be a legendary Super Bowl run. This guy's going to lose. They're going to say it's a fluke. They're going to say it was a one lucky year. Derek Carr's a nice guy. That's going to win one ring. He ain't mean enough to win multiple Super Bowls. But then, just when you think that, what if Mayock is a joke and he is exposed the next couple of years? What if Versace ain't nothing? What if the Raiders hire a coach and he ain't done nothing? Or what if it's all to get you to think that no, the Raiders are not going to do anything here, that one team, the AFC, can still take over and win multiple Super Bowls in a decade. It ain't going to be the Raiders. It's going to be that one team out there that we want to say is going to be that team, that we see some balance between the rivalry between the Chiefs and the Raiders, especially if the Kansas City Chiefs win the AFC the very next year. Now, the Chiefs obviously 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 in the AFC ever since losing to Brady. Probably has to end against the division rival, right? Probably has to be that one team that they really hate the most in that division. That hate factor. The Raiders. You got a real rivalry for supremacy. Chiefs don't play defense. Raiders do play defense. Explain to you, Raiders purposely played prevent defense. Raiders defense still better. Derek Carr, top in the league in passing. You're going to see a more realistic offensive performance, especially if Desean Jackson holds onto the football, especially if Jordan Weller makes it back to the field, especially if the Raiders start to have more balance between the rush in the pass, between the run in the pass, especially if Josh Jacobs' head is right this time, that he's not suffering from having rugs. So you can see a more realistic performance, the 12th of December, right after the game against the Washington football team. I mean, remember Oakland Raiders just too much in 75. I forgot to say this, that their championship was, that Super Bowl was Los Angeles, but it was their first Super Bowl back then in Super Bowl 18 since the Super Bowl in Oakland. I expected Derek Carr to be the next big thing. That's what they said about Tom Brady, right? Skinny quarterback from California. Just want to close it there. That was a great find today with his NFL debut against the Jets. I mean, both instances, it was the Jets at New York. New York, the 11th state. The Raiders' first Super Bowl win came in Super Bowl 11. John Madden documentary show, whatever, on Christmas Day. I don't know if there's anything with that. John Madden's first Super Bowl win. He's from Minnesota. He came against the Vikings. The NFL's been rigged for decades. The whole Joe Namath thing. I mean, the Raiders lost to the Jets in the year that New York and Broadway Joe won the Super Bowl. So, I don't know if Al Davis was part of it or not. He was against the merger, but maybe Al Davis did want to create a big Super League with the NFL. And also keep in mind, too, that they say Mark Davis is a genius who got a stadium deal, but what if the league never wanted Al Davis to get his new stadium? That had to happen right after he died. And then, some time later, 2017, some 5 years later, they did get the new stadium right after Al Davis died. So I like to go look at certain aspects like the turnover battle and certain offensive metrics I can certainly break down with the Raiders. Punt blocks, punt returns. We especially, I don't know if Desean Jackson's going to return punts. I got to pay attention and see who the return guy is on the Raiders, although I do believe that Desean Jackson should absolutely return punts in the Super Bowl at LA. I mean, the Rams haven't done well. You just don't go to win a Super Bowl with a Detroit Lions quarterback. Said never won a playoff game. It's just like the Carson Palmer years in Arizona. It's the same example where he gets one playoff win and he's kind of skittish in that game, and then just gets absolutely destroyed the very next game by the Bucs. I mean, Raiders get one back against the Patriots, and then Tom Brady. That'd be a perfect Super Bowl run. I mean, to get one back against Tom Brady, to get one back against the Patriots. That is why that article came out. They want you to think that, PSYOP operation. Well, they want you to think it's a PSYOP. They want you to think that, NFL wants Belichick against Brady. And the NFL can say, hey, it's not rigged, You said we were trying to go get the Raiders. That never happened. That is only a conspiracy theory that we wanted to knock out the Raiders. We want to knock out the Raiders, but we had the Raiders beat the Cowboys. We had the Broncos beat the Chargers. Who did we have losing to? I mean, we had the Colts losing to the Bucs. We could have easily had the Colts win that game, and our referees did a nice job helping Tom Brady that game. It was a fun game to watch, but the referees obviously helped the Buccaneers. It would have been nice to see the Buccaneers win. I'm kind of glad the Buccaneers did win that game. Oh, yeah, the Browns lost, and then, Steelers lost. So the Raiders jumped the team. So them team lost. The Browns lost, Steelers lost, Colts lost, the Chargers lost. I mean, this all helps the Raiders. I mean, every single outcome that could go the Raiders' way went the Raiders' way. But they're out to get the Raiders. Carr the Star at Texas. I mean, Bart Starr, his name ends with ARR, a lot like Dirk Carr, ARR. Something with Bart Starr there in the first two Super Bowls. I mean, yeah, so something remarkable there. Super remarkable. Revenge tour, revenge against the Miami Dolphins for losing to them last year. Revenge of the Chargers for, hurting the playoff hopes. Revenge against the Indianapolis Colts. They'll probably beat the hapless Browns again. Interesting. Tie into week 7 against the Buccaneers. How many weeks is that until the Super Bowl? So what we get is 7 and 17. That's 10, and then that is 27 and entering the playoffs, and then 30, and then 31, and 31. 31's Gematria of the GOAT. What if Notre Dame wins the title without Brian Kelly? What if the Raiders then win the Super Bowl without John Gruden? What if this is the year of the interim coach? My Notre Dame picture reminds me of the Raiders. A lot has to happen for Notre Dame to happen. I'm sure so more confident in the Raider pick than Notre Dame. I mean, I thought it was over for Notre Dame in October. I'm just amazed that they have a great shot of making it to the college football playoff. I mean, Houston's no joke, undefeated in the college football playoff. But yep, Raiders will control number 8. Now, considering how this helps the Raiders, the Bills are 5-4 in the conference. If they lose to the Patriots, they're 5-5 in the conference, and the Raiders are 4-3 in the conference. And if the Raiders win and the Bills lose, then the Raiders are ahead of the Bills at 7-5 because they have a better record against the AFC. I mean, 5 losses by the Bills to 3. So the Raiders get closer to the Patriots for home field. But then again, if the Patriots make this 7 straight wins, that's conspiracy theory that they're going to face off against Tom Brady in the 7 rings in the Super Bowl. That's a conspiracy theory. And that's also a conspiracy theory that, you see, Bills will probably lose the Patriots again. If the Bills face off against the Raiders, it would have to be at home. So, Kansas City will be red hot again. They'll probably win by double digits, and then they'll probably lose to the Raiders. I mean, which is interesting because if you want to go from a geometric parallel, it is Tennessee Titans on that same gematria as Vegas. Another team of 54 gematria they already lost to, which was the Bills. So the 2 losses to the Chiefs and beating them again in the playoffs, I mean, that's a good theory, but I don't think it's going to happen that way. Oh, the Raiders don't have no playoff experience. Chiefs have playoff experience. That's good enough. Oh, the Raiders got blown out by the Chiefs. And then the Raiders, they say, oh, they got lucky. They won a close game at Kansas City. So this is how, even if the Raiders beat the Chiefs, they're going to say, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs get to defend the dynasty and all that. That the Raiders are just some new guy down the block. Rich Bisaccia being from New York, I got to really anticipate a Buffalo Bills Raiders championship. They probably won't make it to the AFC championship game, the Patriots, because it makes the accomplishments of his rookie season mean a little bit less if you put the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That's probably the only time we're going to face off against each other. Patriots Bucks is a great Super Bowl, but Tom Brady against the Raiders is still a much-watched TV. The Raider Nation against Tom Brady? To end the Tom Brady era, to be the dynasty of the... They still got the Cowboys in there with Super Bowl 60, all that, You see the Dallas Cowboys, you see the rivalry heat up. Mexican fans there. They're probably Mexican-American families that have got Red Eye and got Cowboy fans, and that's what makes the rivalry, this Red Eye Cowboy rivalry more dynamic. I mean, guys get ejected from the game, and one guy's taking swings at a Raider game with a Raider guy after the game. I mean, everything just spews rivalry with that Thanksgiving game, and it's going to mean something for Super Bowl 60. What I've suspected before, But too many Buccaneer connections. It's over for the Dallas Cowboys this year. It's over. They're going to make it to the playoffs. They're going to lose to the Rams. The winner of that game will not want to win. They will lose to Tom Brady. That is what is going to happen with that wild card game. America makes fun of them again. America's going to say, oh, the Rams, are they going to get one against Tom Brady? Are they going to get one against Tom Brady? It all ends against Tom Brady again for the Rams. It all ends against Tom Brady again. Will these Ram fans root for the Raiders? Or are they gonna be bitches for Tom Brady? If they hate the Raiders, or if they hate Tom Brady more. That'll be an interesting question that I'm going to ask as we reach that point into the season. You're trying to build a fan base. You have some ups and downs. You have your same old Chargers. If you beat the Bengals, that Charger team would got blown out by the Ravens. I mean, what if they don't want them in the playoffs? That'd be a wonderful curveball. If that'd be quite a curveball, I think, if the NFL decides to throw that knuckleball, put the Chargers out of the playoffs. I think it'd be interesting if the Raiders play all 3 games on the road, Raider invasion style. NFL not red. We don't have the Rams playing a home playoff game. We don't have the Chargers playing a home playoff game. We don't have the Vegas Raiders playing a home playoff game. Or they'll just say, "Hey, it's all tourism. Road fans are gonna want to have fun at Vegas. It's not a home field advantage." They're gonna say. Many angles to ponder and take a look at as we get to the playoffs, as we get to December. The Chargers losing again just means all the Raiders can occupy the spot. They're going to beat the Browns. They're going to beat all them teams. Never underestimate the coin. The coin has to be wrong at some point. I'm talking about the coin now. It's crazy, man. These guys are all over the coin, but coin ain't made no playoff prediction for a reason, man. For a reason. Red zone offense can be a lot better if the running game gets better. I think the red zone, this team should be scoring more points than they're picking up yards. I mean, clearly there's a lot of improvement waiting to happen. There is no dominant team in the AFC this year. None, 0. Patriots are not a dominant team. Remember, they beat the Jets twice. They beat the Texans all that. They beat the Titans without Derrick Henry. Patriots are a good team. They have a good program. I like Bill Belichick. I respect what he does on defense. I like the fact that they have young quarterback playing smart. Bill Belichick and coach. They're saying that he's nothing without Tom Brady. All that, which is disrespect. All that. They don't know what they're talking about with that. But when, in all seriousness, just when you do not have the GOAT Tom Brady, you're not going to win again with a rookie quarterback like that. That's what you have to understand with that. That a Bucs Patriots Super Bowl, I think, is disrespected Tom Brady. Tom Brady used to be the mad dog entering the Super Bowl. He beat Kyler Murray. He beat the Cardinals. In closing, this will not be a close Super Bowl. Both Bucs Raiders Super Bowls are going to be blowouts. The Raiders are going to end that guy's career. That's what the score represents. They're going to rip the heart and soul out of Tom Brady's body that day. Carl Nassib and Nick Gallier, the Ravens guy, these guys are going to be in his face all day. He's going to fumble. Abram is going to come off the edge. He's going to fumble. He's going to throw a pick to Hobbs. He's going to throw a pick to Hayward, whoever it is. He's going to throw a pick. Perryman's going to force a fumble. It's going to be freaking brutal. It's going to be fucking bloody murder. It's going to be bloody murder, especially if all the fans are LA Raider fans. LA was not going to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. LA's real team of Raiders will show exactly why LA's real team is going to beat Tom Brady, not the fake team from LA, the Rams, the Lambs that we saw in 2019. LA's real team beats Tom Brady. The Raiders wore white in that Super Bowl. They wore white against Tom Brady. The black hole of death is on the way. The Raider dynasty is born wearing black at the Cowboys. The Raiders will be wearing black in the Super Bowl. And that'll be the kiss of death for Tom Brady. It is a new America. It is a new country. It is a new decade. It is about payback this time for the Tuck game. Derek Carr will write his legend. No one's going to believe him. I'm the biggest believer in him. I know all the adversity he's gone through. This guy's an amazing man. This guy's a criminally underrated throwing arm. The throwing strength is just wow. You have a smarter route runner. I'm sure if Henry Ruggs were still playing, he would have learned how to run good routes. You want team players, or just win, baby. It don't matter about no stats or anything like that. Just win. This is a team that Al Davis can be proud of. They can get behind them if they do have big wonders. New York Giants team, 0-2, all of that. Super Bowl 42. The Green Bay Packers, all these guys that injured reserve. The Giants, 6-6, 9-7, winning in. This is a year where you're going to have to pick that kind of team that gets red hot. Maybe we'll see number 2, number 1 teams next year, like the Packers and the Chiefs. It'll be the same old Cowboys this year. And this will be the last chapter of the same old Cowboys narrative from the last 26 plus years. Then after this year is when we'll get ready for as we move on from Tom Brady, we will start the Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers rivalry. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers has to get the first laugh, but then Rodgers retires or he decides to play, and Mike McCarthy will get a ring with Dak Prescott. Surprised no one's asked this question yet, but I'm going to tie into the death of his brother and his mother to the Cowboys Super Bowl championship. Now, not going to happen this year. The key to the Cowboys' next championship is the gematria of the Giants, because the New York Giants are not called Giants without the. They're called the Giants, the New York Giants. This is where his life path numerology comes into play, 44. Not going to do it this year. I've got the guy on my team. He's a great quarterback. He's a great gunslinger. Derek Carr is my pick to have a big week this week. But I'm always here for the Raider Nation. You'll be back just seeing interesting content, seeing if what I'm saying is true with the Raiders for the next few years. Then, 4 years, if you decide to say, oh, fuck you, you're not going to root for Raiders this year, I'm gone. Super Bowl 60, Super Bowl 61, you're going to be back for that. You're going to be back for that. That'd be pretty cool if the Raider dynasty is capped right after a Cardinal championship. The enemy, my enemy is my friend. The Seahawks rival in the AFC West. The Rams rival. Who is the best team in LA? The best team in the Bay. Go Raiders, baby. Go Raiders. I'm a fucking pirate till the end. That's right. The Raiders against the world. That's right. The gematria against the world. I like to deny that, baby. Just win, baby. Just win, baby. What I see in the comments is the NFL Raiders going to be Belichick and Brady. Ready to throw a curveball here. Ready to throw a curveball. No. That was conspiracy theory. We're not out to get the Raiders. Oh. I don't want to award this guy Lombardi Trophy. This guy called me anti-football pussy. This guy called me names. Get rid of him. Make him miserable. Devastate John Good. Make him have to watch this Lombardi Trophy. Those results from the past week, I did not see them coming, but certainly they have helped the Raiders. So you see, you theorize, and you conclude what is happening based on the results you see. Yep. It is about to get very epic. We all know the Raiders are going to win this week. Let's get ready for Kansas City. Now, Washington football team has won 3 straight games. They beat the Bucs. They won against Russell Wilson on Monday Night Football. People are going to think this team, half of them will think the Washington football team is going to win. I think they're making it easy. Well, they're in a wild card race, but there's no division race now because, Dallas won the football game tonight. But after everything that happened with the emails, the Raiders are going to end their fucking season this fucking week coming up on Jim Plunkett's 74th birthday, the winner of Super Bowl 18. Their season is fucking over. The Raiders are going to get one back against them. Justice will be served. Their season is fucking over after this week. Their playoff dreams are over. Over. What you give to John Gruden and all that. And all them Raider players that visited John Gruden. Not all of them, but some of them did. And some would have, his pastor friends said that, you don't think John Gruden a racist. So definitely it's all manufactured by the media, but guys with the power hold all the strings. They've got big egos. They don't like John Gruden calling them out. This guy's a real Raider, Al Davis style, fighting the league till the end. He's going to fight the NFL. Kroenke, other owners are probably going to have to pay into the lawsuit now, the settlement. They thought this guy promised to cover the whole bill. Well, if other owners have to cover it, this guy ain't getting no Super Bowl. This is the reality with the LA Rams. We're covering your ass, Stan. You're not getting no Super Bowl. Your friend Jerry Jones is part of this mess. Seven-headed beast in Revelation. Even though we don't see John Gruden in the Super Bowl, the disciple John saw the rise of the Antichrist. He saw the rise of the Antichrist when the top roll happened. This is the whole meaning of John the disciple and John Gruden. He didn't have to partake in this. But the backup quarterback beats Brady, and now the interim coach beats Tom Brady. And every guy on the roster is coached from top to bottom. That is the whole meaning of special teams. It's a whole team effort. This real narrative for the Raider dynasty. The Raider dynasty, one of the core identities of this Raider team this decade is that every guy gets coached top to bottom. You see the Pittsburgh Steelers. You see all them elite teams like the Patriots. That's what the special teams coach is going to do. Every single guy from the top to the bottom is going to get coached. There's going to be unsung heroes every single week. That's Raider style. It takes a whole Raider gang to go pillage the whole village. That's what it's going to take. Every single man. Offense, defense, special teams. All 3 phases in the year of the Tiger. All 3 phases that allowed the Raiders to win 3 Super Bowls in the first place. You need to be the counted out misfits that everybody thinks y'all are. That your season is over. It's time to give up. It's too much to overcome. But that ain't how a Raider attacks it. Nah. Raiders go all the way till the end. As Al Davis says, just win, baby. Pillage that village. The looting from the riots. Buccaneers paid mercenaries, paid Spanish mercenaries. That looting theme is true with the Raiders in the Pirates Super Bowl. Another Super Bowl matchup, if it's really rigged, like Patriots, Eagles, like Giants, Patriots, like Cowboys, Steelers, like I think Bills, Cowboys was a Super Bowl rematch. Patriots, Rams. So, next Super Bowl rematch, Buccaneers and the Raiders. If the AFC is really that interesting, then I think the Steelers beat the Ravens this week. No running back is going to win. Okay? Got to pay attention to Buffalo Bills, to the Raiders, to the Chiefs, because people say the Patriots, I'll just include the Patriots for the sake of it. So, get to the first 20 minutes of the video. I talk about the football. Inglewood, California's Gematria 54. It's the 54th win for Derek Carr. It happens in a rematch of Super Bowl 18. This broken fiber of the Indianapolis Colts can clinch a playoff berth against the Colts, maybe eliminate the Colts, The Vegas Golden Knights, Game 6, 192 weeks later, 3 years and 8 months later, Vegas strong recovery. We've seen the winning over the people in Italy. I guess they're waiting a year for New York City for the Yankees. Well, I think they've waited long enough to get tourism going and all of that. I mean, give one back for the tourism industry for the people of Las Vegas. I did provide some updates to the squad that's going to win the Super Bowl for the Raiders. Just provide a comment to link the video to the long snapper from the Bucs, to Desean Jackson. Crunky Sports Entertainment based in Colorado. It's the kicker, Daniel Carlson, that's from Colorado Springs. And he had the big 5-for-5 game over at Dallas. So, Gematria of the Cowboys doesn't mean they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. At Inglewood, the whole Gematria of the Cowboys, the whole Gematria of Inglewood ties into the beginning of the Super Bowl run of the team that is going to win. Doesn't always line up with the team. Has a relationship with a championship run beginning against that particular team. I think Chinese astrology is real, is the way to go. Jerry Jones is born the year of the dragon. This guy is going to be dead before the Cowboys win their next championship. I absolutely believe that. Will probably happen next year, but if it don't happen next year, maybe before the year of Super Bowl 58, maybe during the year of Super Bowl 58, but during the year of Super Bowl 58 would be obvious. But if it happens during the year of Super Bowl 57, that, hey, Cowboys going to get one for Jerry Jones this year and all that. But Jerry's born the year of the dragon. He's going to lose. It's Stephen Jones, I think, that's going to win, right? The son wins the Super Bowl. Right after Dad, Al Davis dies, happened a little longer, get the stadium, transition to the new city, all that. And in the case of the Cowboys, they're sort of getting ready to win a Super Bowl, but they're going through a whole laughing stock ritual. Some things that allow you to say, hey, Dallas, they're kind of different, missing a star receiver and still win without your coach. And they had some defensive players out there. They did, Dallas, get big wins. A guy from the Freemasonic fraternity, he allows the Patriots and the Seahawks to play in the Super Bowl with his conservative play calling. Mike McCarthy allows the Falcons to make it to the Super Bowl before they move into their new stadium. Mike McCarthy allows the Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll heated NFC Championship game to happen. I don't believe Mike McCarthy's a bad coach at all. I think he's a good company man. I think Mike McCarthy, obviously, if it weren't up to chance, that you'd show, hey, why he's a really good football coach. It's just going to be set up for this guy, as a martyr in Green Bay to show that, hey, he's a little disrespected over there on the practice, from the media, from the team, all that. That he really was different from Jason Garrett and all them other guys like Wade Phillips and all that. But as far as this year goes with Bisaccia, this guy, if he's going to continue on winning these games in December, I'm ready to say that I called it with Bisaccia being the next Bruce Arians. At 60 years of age, he gets a chance to be the coach. Players love the guy. They love Bruce Arians. Unexpected circumstances. Special teams are going to lead the way this year. Special teams, special teams, special teams, special teams. Save your big special teams plays for the more important games, like a must-win game on primetime TV with that pooch kick, with some fake plays on special teams. Save all of that for the playoffs. Just save all of that for the playoffs. I cannot reiterate how much we're going to see some key special teams plays coming away for the Raiders. It just is going to happen. You know, what I've talked about with COVID and social distancing in a home Super Bowl, you heard about this new variant. If this new variant doesn't respond well to the vaccines, if not enough people are taking the boosters, then this is a key thing to note why a home Super Bowl makes sense for at least one more year until the economy is hopefully fully back to normal by the end of 2022. If we're worried about this new variant, then you should suspect that social distancing is going to happen for the Super Bowl this year. It's depending on what happens with it, all that. You don't lose your sense of taste and whatnot with this new variant, but my view, very important to take vaccines and all that. I believe in science and all that. Everything that happened with martial law didn't happen. What they said was going to happen, taking away the guns, all that, lockdown, military coming. Some of this stuff is just fear mongering. You got to realize that certainly we didn't get locked down again. But I think a home Super Bowl makes sense from this angle that new variants are rising because, well, I don't know, 20% or whatever, 30% are not vaccinated. 70% of adults have got vaccines. 30 is still a big number. I think 85% is what's needed, all that. I mean, home Super Bowl, that's a big idea. That's something to look out for. I mean, Baker's all banged up. Drew Lock can't play quarterback. Carr's going to beat the Colts. LA's real team ain't going to lose 2 times to the Chargers. They're not going to spoil Jim Plunkett's birthday. The one game that I might K, this could go either way, is going to be the Kansas City game. Who knows if the Raiders lose to the Broncos, all that. They get it, it's Broncos Raiders, I don't know. I kind of, you can go on and on with this stuff, man. You really can. 1982 Raiders. 1983. That's another thing with Derek Carr making his first start with the Jets. That the Raiders lost to the Jets in the playoffs the year before they won the Super Bowl. So I find that pretty interesting. Of course, in LA, they win a playoff game against the hated Steelers. I mean, 2 championships as far as I know of, they beat the Steelers. Super Bowl 11 and Super Bowl 18. So, funny. The last loss of the year before they won the Super Bowl against the Washington football team was against what was then my uncle's team, the St. Louis Cardinals, because he's from New Jersey. He roots for the Cardinals his whole life. He rooted for the Cardinals. He rooted for them in St. Louis. He was a fan back then. So interesting. The Raiders' last loss of the year came against my favorite team, the Cardinals, in the year that they won the Super Bowl. I find that very interesting. I do. That's 24-34. I think Cardinals beat the 49ers one year, and the 49ers won the Super Bowl. What is going on with these Cardinals? I think the 34th quarterback to win the Super Bowl video, I think it really ties into the NFL debut against there were 19 hijackers, all of that. I remember the Jets, they won like 19-14 that game. So maybe foreshadowing that, hey, this is going to be the next dynasty of the NFL.
Hey there, big announcement. I'm now partnering with...
Perception is key. Perception is key. I've always been a fan of Josh Jacobs. I've been a fan of Leatherwood on the offensive line. Ngoye, Nassib. How the hell can I forget to bring up Max Crosby? I mean, this defense can be designed to be like the 49er defense where you're just rushing 4 guys and you're dropping guys in coverage, making tackles right underneath. There's no room to get yards after the catch. That's the kind of identity that the Raiders need to take, in my opinion. All my research before with the Bills game, I mean, I really like the Bills at Vegas AFC title game. You gotta see some craziness for that to happen. It's crazy. What if 2 interim coaches win championships in the same year? I mean, Brian Kelly didn't see coming. That's and never say never with the Jesuits and what they're capable of achieving with some of these champions over the years. Even the Atlanta Braves missing one of their guys like Acuna or whatnot, and they're able to put together this World Series team. $5,000 passing yards. Now, hopefully he gets 5,000 passing yards, Derek Carr, week 16, because inflation is still continuing with rule changes in week 17. That stats get overinflated. But when you're number 1 in the NFL with the 28th rushing attack, okay, Giants, it reminds me of Eli Manning in the Giants. It just reminds me of that year. I believe in Eli. I believe in Eli, says Deion Sanders. What's interesting about the Super Bowl at LA is that the next 13 teams to win the Super Bowl after the Raiders did in 1983, the NFC went on a winning streak of 13 right after the Raiders won the Super Bowl in LA. That's a true story. I think that's going to be super significant in a way. Al has Jamachi at 13. I mean, not supposed to think it's the... I know exactly why people are predicting the Cowboys. You can interpret Gematria one way. You can interpret it another way. We all know why they lost the Giants and the Bengals. Super Bowl run is supposed to be getting against the Cowboys, besides just team. That's just the truth. It's never too late. People are going to... why else would this article come out? NBC executives want that Super Bowl. But I mean, I know what the simpleton sheep will say because they're like, oh, NFL rigged. Why aren't the Cowboys in the Super Bowl? Well, everybody hates the Cowboys. It's entertainment. They're going to say, hey, why doesn't NBC executives want the Cowboys in the Super Bowl? Why don't, they're still going to get the Raider Nation in the Super Bowl. It's without the Patriots. I mean, Tom Brady is God. Like, they can't make the Super Bowl without Tom Brady. They'll never make the Super Bowl in quite some time without Tom Brady. You sort of diminish the accomplishments of Tom Brady in his rookie year. I mean, but that's what the Jamal Thomas is telling you is that who's the 22nd playoff loss for the Patriots going to happen? Against Thomas Brady, or it's going to happen against Derek Carr? Of course, his first win against the Patriots happens without Tom Brady. You ready for a Bucks Patriots Super Bowl? TV executives are. Someone made a comment today. Oh, people are thinking this is the Super Bowl. They read this article. Raiders Cowboys most watched game in over 20 years. So Raiders will obviously ratings were low because people lost interest in cheap entertainment after what has happened in life with COVID and their job and insecurity and uncertainty over the future. It's going to be a highly rated Super Bowl regardless. Again, he never says he dreams of catching Tom Brady, but that's what the article said with Derek Carr at the beginning of the year. This guy, what did he call him? A scrub? Or you want to replace me? You don't want me? You want this motherfucker? And then, league insiders say it's the Raiders. Tom Brady beats the Rams again. AFC is not as obvious to decode because of how tight the AFC is. I mean, NFC I think is easy. With the AFC, everybody's all crunched up together. No dominant team at AFC. I'm all ready for the games this week. Yeah, you can see it there. You can see a win in a wild card round for Andy Reid, and then divisional round. It's Vegas. That's too much of 18. It's a rematch against the Bills for Kansas City. If you don't have the Raiders, then I suppose that can happen. I suppose it can. Rematch against Lamar Jackson. Bills Patriots matchup in the divisional round. Winner of the Bills Patriots goes up against the Chiefs Raiders. Something like that. Something like that. The only team that's really overcome that much adversity is the Ravens with all their injuries, and with Lamar playing like a running back in the Ravens, it's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. I mean, he was drafted in the 75th NFL draft. 7 years and 9 months later, he can win the Super Bowl. I mean, this guy, Derek Carr. So he's 13 touchdowns away from 200. It's week 13, and the last Super Bowl came in LA, and I'll just end it there. Talk about the red-eyed Redskin game. Next recording, whatnot. Maybe 3 o'clock, go to bed or whatnot. I mean, you can go all day with this, man. I mean, this is going to be one of the epic years of the NFL. As epic as 2001 or 2007, 2008. Next dynasty, man. I mean, I'll talk to you more about what I didn't do well tonight and what I did do tonight in fantasy football.